Okay, we're going to be looking at the review for our unit test that we're taking on Thursday and Friday. Ida was shopping at an end of the season sale. All of the dresses were 2/5 off, and the shoes were 1/3 off. What percentage could she take off the price of the dresses she found? I'm going to focus on the 2/5 because it says dresses and they're 2/5 off. I don't need 1/3. I'm going to mark through that. Okay, so I'm going to write down 2/5 and then I'm going to multiply by 20 on both sides because that's going to give me a number over 100, which will help me with my percent. I know that 5 times 20 is 100 and 2 times 20 is 40. That equals 40%. If I wanted to for fun, I could still change this into a decimal, which would be decimal 40. So my answer is C, 40%. Let's look at number 2. In Carroll's school, the ratio of teachers to students is 3 to 5. Write this ratio in decimal form. So it says 3 to 5. That's going to be a fraction for me, 3 over 25. Now I need it to say 100 so that I can get my decimal. So that's going to be 25 times 4 is 100, and 3 times 4 is 12. That equals 12%, or decimal 12 hundredths, which is F. Okay, look at number 3. For every 16 games the baseball team won, they lost 3. Which fraction correctly compares the number of games lost to the number of games played? So I had to add my games played, which is 16, over here, to my games lost, which is 3, and I got 19. That gives me my denominator of 19, so 3 over 19. That's a tricky question because it could make you think that you're looking at 3/16. Okay, now I want you to look at the next page, number 4. It says, which model does not represent 48% of the shapes shaded? In this case, I counted all of the shaded pieces on F, and there were 36. So that gives me 36 over the total, which is 75. So I'm going to top in, bottom out, going to divide. So 36 divided by 75. That gave me decimal 48, which is 48%. I want not 48%. So I know that F is not an option for me. Next, I looked at G. When I counted the dark circles, the shaded circles, there were 24 shaded ones, and there were 50 total. So when I looked at that, I know I need to make that equal to 100. That would be the easiest way to find the percent. So 50 times the 2 is 100, and 24 times 2 is 48. That equals our 48 right here, 48%. I'm looking for something that does not represent 48%, so I know that G is not my answer either. Now, when I first looked at H, I thought this has to be the answer because I counted the shaded pieces and I got 48. But then when I looked, there were 10 across this direction, but when I counted this way, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There were only 8. So when I multiplied 10 times 8, I got 80, but not 100. So I know that H is the one that cannot be equal to 48%. So it's definitely H. I worked J for you just for fun, but as you can see, it is exactly the same as what we worked earlier. Okay. We're going to look at another picture. Number 5. Kim's class has 16 boys and 8 girls. Which of the following represents the part of the class that is boys? So we already know we want the 16 boys, is what we're looking at, the 16 boys and the 8 girls. I want the 16 on top. It's my numerator here. And then the denominator is going to be 24. Now the way we got that is we added 16 plus 8 together, and we got 24. I know that I can divide 24 by 8, and I can divide 16 by 8. 24 divided by 8 is 3. and 16 divided by 8 is 2. That gave me 2/3, which is D. Okay, look at number 6. Which model represents cutting 40% of the ribbon? So what I did was, when I looked at this, I thought, okay, that one means it's 100% all the way across. And then I looked at how many pieces were there, and I counted them. I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There were 10 total. So that meant that each mark was worth 10%. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. So when I looked at where the scissors were, I could see that was not 40%. I thought I knew G was the answer, but I wanted to count to make sure. So I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I counted 10. So all I had to do was look at where 40% was, and this is where it was. So my answer was G. We're going to go to the next page, and we're looking at number 7. Mrs. Garcia rented a bouncy house. The deposit was 75% of the total charge. Which model represents 75%? So in this case, we have one hole here, and then we have all of the pieces. So I'm going to count the pieces total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 12 total. And the numerator is going to be 10. Now you can divide. In this case, you can't make 12 equal to 100 by multiplying. So you can TIBO, top in, bottom out, to get your answer. Now I did want to show you another way to do this. So I've got 10 twelfths and I divided and I got my answer. There is another way. I could say 10 twelfths here, but I know those are both even numbers, so I could divide those both by 2 to get an answer that's smaller. So 10 divided by 2 would be 5, and 12 divided by 2 would be 6. So I get 5/6. Well, then I would top in, bottom out. 5 divided by 6. And I would say 6 times what equals 50 or something close to it. Well, 6 times 8 would be 48. So I would subtract 48, and I would have 2 left. Add a 0 and bring it down. And then 6 times 3 would be 18. Now this is where we're going to start repeating. And so really we can just put a mark over that and we're done with that problem because we have our answer already for this one. Okay, I'm going to erase this. And then we'll look at the rest of our problem. I just wanted to make sure that you could see that there was another way to work this kind of a problem. You can reduce first and then do your top and bottom out, and sometimes that is a better way because your numbers are going to be smaller that you're working with. Okay, so number 8, 3/4 is what percent of a circle? So we just took 3/4, it's very equal to 100. So we multiplied by 25 here, by 25 here, and 3 times 25 is 75, and 4 times 25 is 100. So that gave us decimal 75 whenever we were able to write it as a decimal. 75 hundredths. This is also 75 hundredths, and then it's very simple. You just move the decimal point 2 places to the right by multiplying by 100, and you get 75%. Okay. Number 9, Mr. Johnson's 6th grade class conducted a survey and discovered that 75% of the class had more than one pet. What fractional part of the class had one pet or less? So what I did was I said, okay, all of the class is 100, and I just subtracted the 75 from that, and I got 25%. Then I took the 25 over the 100, which is my fractional part here, and I divided it by 25. So 25 divided by 25 gave me 1. And then 100 divided by 25 gave me 4. So my answer was B, 1/4. Okay, we're going to look at another page. Number 10. Buddy the baker sells tasty treats from his bakery store in New York. Last week, Buddy sold 10 birthday cakes, 50 cupcakes, 30 cookies and 10 apple crisp platters, what fractional part of the whole do both birthday cakes and cupcakes sales represent? So to find the total, I added all of my numbers together, and I ended up with a very easy number to work with, 100. Then I added up the 10 birthday cakes and the 50 cupcakes here, and I got 60. So then I put 60 over 100, and I was able to mark through one of the zeros to reduce it down a little bit. So we got it to 6/10. Then we divided by 2 here and divided by 2 here. And we got 3/5. So my answer is G. Number 11. Nathan had eaten 20% of his pizza. He was giving the rest of it to his brothers, 2 brothers. If he gave them both the same amount, what fraction of the pizza would each of them get? So I circled the 20%, that's important, and the 2 brothers. And I want to know the fraction that they both got. They got the same amount. I took the 100%, which would be the whole pizza, and subtracted 20. And I ended up with 80%. That's what's left over. Now he's going to share that between both of his brothers. So that 80 is going to be divided by 2 here. And then we're going to get 40 over 100. You're going to mark through the zeros to reduce it down here. And then you get 4/10. Divide by 2 over 2, and you get 2/5, which is B. Okay, number 12. Pete cleaned out his closet. He gave away 2/5 of his clothes. He just gave them away. What decimal represents the amount of clothes he gave away? It's not talking about the ones that he kept, the ones that he gave away. So 2/5. I took that 2/5 and I said, I can make that equal to 100 very easily by multiplying by 20. So I did that, and I got 40 over 100. Again, mark through that 0 on the end on both of those, and I get 4/10. Then you can divide 4/10 by 2 over 2, and you get 2/5. The answer is going to be 2/5, but I need decimal form. So I'm going to go back and look at this fraction. I was really just trying to show you they equaled up. 4/10 is the same as 4/10. Remember your place value. Okay, guys, I hope you study and you do a great job. Thank you for watching and listening. Bye.